Alright, hey guys, this is Riley, and today I just want to kind of take this opportunity to share with you something I've been preparing for a very, very long time. And it's really more of a way of me kind of giving back to the community of like the work that I have done. So what I'm going to share with you in this video is going to be a little bit about why I do what I do, especially if you are a fresh graduate from school, you just lost your job, you're looking for a side hustle, or you're just someone who's just very curious about the training industry. Why is it that people keep saying that it's very lucrative, especially with different, how would I put it, different opportunities, like skills future, HRD, stuff like that. Like, how do you navigate all this? And I think for me personally, it's because, I've been in this trade for over close to a decade. And I think for me is that because of different initiative, when one rises, another sinks, basically. So I just thought of putting together some slides to kind of share with you, what goes on behind the scenes, and especially if you are someone who wants to explore, this industry, why is it that people actually struggle to have that breakthrough? What's actually holding people back? So I just thought of doing this podcast to kind of share with you what goes on behind the scenes. Okay. So this is Lighthouse. So that's my company. The whole idea for us is to help people get seen, get trusted and get paid. And at the same time, it's more like how do you launch your program that make you visible, trusted, and profitable. One of the things that we found out that trainers are actually struggling with is actually getting themselves out there. A lot of people, you can actually learn the skill on how to create programs, design curriculums and stuff like that. But the biggest challenge for most trainers is how do you get students into your classroom, And even though you know how to do the marketing and the closing and stuff like that, but again, it's one of the most toughest skill, and I think also one of the most expensive if done wrongly. Okay, so a little bit about ourselves. The Lighthouse, we are both a Singapore and Malaysia registered training provider. And so, we do training programs, we do coaching programs, we even do events and stuff like that. So more to come soon, but yeah. So what's going on in our industry, and what really kind of like what hit my heartstrings, is that when I watch like China News Asia and stuff like that, and I see all these videos, because I'm in the age group, Gen Z is giving up on work, highly educated but unemployed. Everyone wants a stable job, or the youth are stuck in bankruptcy and stuff like that. And it's just not one incident. This is just a few of the videos. You just go and search on something to do with unemployment and stuff. It's really, really very scary. And then you see jobless in my 30, people get retrenched. In China, it's, oh my god, it's so crazy because everyone is graduating and then there's no job and stuff like that. And then Taiwan also hits. India also hits as well. It's a really, really scary time to be in, actually. And then in Singapore, right, we have this thing called the gig economy. It's not new, and not limited to just Singapore. But one thing I like about the Singapore government is that they give us opportunities like Skills Future, and Skills Future, for those who are international and are not familiar, is basically a government initiative where they basically subsidize majority of the cost fee so that you can upskill yourself, stay in the trend, stay employed and stuff like that, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about, Skills Future, which has its pros and its cons, is that when Skills Future came about, right, and kind of compared to the past, in the past when you do workshops, right, it's it's expensive, right? Like those NLP courses, seminars, you pay a couple $100 to see a special guest from the US or something like that, I personally paid to see people like Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, just to name a few, And then they teach and then they upsell you stuff, and then it's okay, maybe I might be successful, maybe I'm not. We never know, right? And then now when Skills Future came about, it's okay, what is this Skills Future thing about? What's the whole purpose of it? And being a business owner for the longest period of time, I'm it just doesn't come across my radar. However, as a trainer, as a facilitator, one of the things that kind of struck was I knew about this certification called ACTA back then. Now it's called ACLP. And the whole idea of that certification is once you get that certification, you can teach a government approved course, what they call a WSQ, work skill qualification. Then I'm okay, so back then it was 12 months long, and then now it's 3 months, right? So they have shortened it from 12 months, 9 months, 6 months, and 3 months, okay? And that's not the end, It's once you've done that, that's only for you to be certified to teach the so-called WSQ courses, right? Or skills future courses. And then if you want to design or write curriculum, you have to take a full-fledged diploma, which back then was I think 12 months, 2 years. And for me, I took 6 months just to, be able to be certified to write a program to get approval, right? And the whole purpose why I would do that was because, growing up, I, learned from all these different teachers and stuff like that. And, it's not easy, especially if you don't master certain skill sets like sales and marketing. And then it's when this initiative hit, right, it's even harder because it's either your programs are too expensive, or let's say your programs are not there yet, you don't have enough proof, or the market is not willing to pay you, or the very Singapore style is got Skills Future, got discount, or can claim credits or not. So that's what has been going on. And because of that, right, it's a tug of war, and there's many types of teaching or modes of education, right? You have your coaching, you got your speaking, you got your training, facilitating, stuff like that, right? So one of the things I realized in this is that if you can't beat them, you join them lah. So I didn't really get it at first, and I was very, very stubborn back then. But unfortunately, because I think along the way, like in the last couple of years after COVID, things really impacted a lot of things from the businesses, from the economy, and people are not willing to spend, right? So especially in Singapore, compared to let's say our neighboring countries like Malaysia, it's like no grants, no subsidies, then I won't join, And it's only a couple of $100s, but for like 1 day, 2 day, 3 days program. But again, Singaporeans are just not receptive. Like this again is just based on my professional observation, right? And so I realized there's one of few reasons and things you can do like as a trainer, as a professional is one, either you pivot yourself to fit the market, or you niche down to be the category king or queen of your trade. And then basically people will find you. So one of the things I kind of discovered, I guess, early on in this career is train the trainer model, right? And what train the trainer model is basically, instead of you trying to sell to the general public, right, which is quite broad and nothing wrong with that, but one of the ways I personally find it's easier to market is train the trainers, because basically it's not just training these people based out of theory, but it's basically training these people based off my own experience, right? So, in one of the sharings or in some of the classes I teach, I talk about the 3 levels of authority. And the first one is, about, are you, if you've been in this trade for a long period of time and you have not gotten some kind of traction and stuff, well, I think the only reason is because we have not yet, talked a lot about it online. We not publish things online. It's not that you don't know, it's just like it's a habit, right? It's a discipline. So the first level is kind of like the researcher or the observer. Are you sharing your thought leadership, right? Are you sharing your opinions? Are you sharing what is kind of like upsetting you about industry? Like what I'm doing now, right? I'm very upset that, with the government initiative, on one end it's really, really good, but on the ground it's like chaos. Like it's not actually, fulfilling its main purpose, right? Which is help people stay in a job or get employed, But to me, I think when I see like the holistic picture of like the economy and the world, I think for me it's really about asking yourself, are you preparing yourself to be anti-fragile? Meaning to say, irregardless whether the economy is good, whether the economy is bad, are you able to still, be stable, right? And also at the same time, when I look at all the Channel News Asia and stuff like that, I'm like, if only like we equip people with entrepreneurial skill sets or high income skill sets, right? Only then, unemployment will go down, because we are entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are there to kind of solve problems like world issues, right? And sooner or later, when you climb up that skills ladder of yours, you kind of realize, I need to hire people because there's so many tasks to do, right? And I truly believe that this world is truly abundant, that there will never be a shortage of people to work for and to work with, and so I really believe in that. But coming back to the skills future, right? It's quite a sad time, because especially if for someone like myself who've been in this craft for over a decade, it's like, wow, if I don't get the accreditation, if my programs are not accredited, if my programs are not funded, it's very hard to sell, even though I try to niche it down, right? Again, people can have different thoughts, right? Maybe it's about self-worth, maybe it's about how you see yourself, how you position yourself, but then again, that is just my personal opinion, right? So that's skills future for you. So what happens next is that where do people go, right? So if not for classes, then we go online, learn from people like Alex Omonzi, Daniel Presley, watch podcasts, and just learn. But again, one of the things I realized learning from them is that their methods are very westernized, which to an extent really works really well in Asia. But then again, it's really more about, hey, what are you learning from whoever and taking what works for you, right? And for me personally, I have learned from all these different teachers. I've paid, I think, close to 5-6 figures from everyone. And fun fact, in case like Daniel Presley is watching, fun fact that your company, Dant, actually sponsored my event 10 years ago. So what a full circle moment, And a huge shout out to people like Taki Moore and some of my teachers that are still around today, who has taught me a lot about, facilitating, training, becoming world-class, self-expression, like Larry Gilman, who is a Hollywood producer, and Vanessa for very early on sharing all the different frameworks in, building an online personal brand. So, all these different teachers, you can see from their face, right? It's like almost all Western, and maybe ABC, Asian-born Chinese or Asian American, as they call it. So they're like, yeah, except Vin. I think Vin, I know he's from Vietnam. So yeah, we need more Asian pride, we need more Asian representative. So these are the works that really inspire me today, and it's really accumulation of, because of them, I'm able to showcase to you the work that I'm doing today, right? And so because of them as well, this is what I've done. I've done workshops, I've been on podcasts, I organize podcasts, I'm invited to speak on stage. I was invited, to do corporate events for the finance industry and stuff like that. And I think it's really interesting because this only happened only in the last 12 months or so. And I just want to kind of like have this conversation with you, if you're watching this, is that you must understand that life, as much as like you see all this like fame and like like wow, like I want to be like Riley or something like that, right? Actually, it is very fast. Like if you practice like if you practice things like meditation, spirituality and stuff like that, actually within like 12 to like 24 months, all this is really, really possible. And I'm telling you this not to like cliche stuff, because I think a lot of times when I look up at different role models and then you ask them, how do you do it? And what was it like? And then they'll tell you a very superficial answer, but they don't tell you the very practical, like step by step, like they don't make it relatable. And I really hate that, because I'm like, how do you do it? Like, can you like break it down for me? Stuff like that. So for me, that was how I guess my genius came about, which is I like to break things down as much as I can for it to be repeatable, right? Like if my success is like this and this is what you want, then it's like, hey, this is how I did it. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. So I mean, coming back to this, it's really more about putting yourself out there, finding opportunities, getting out of your comfort zone, and just doing and following the trend. As cliche as that might sound, like following the trend, right? It's like I don't like following the trends, but to some particular extent, I kind of understand the value of it now. Like if you just follow where the money flows, it will come into your pocket. Okay, yeah. So that's quite interesting. And so yeah, a little bit about myself. If you haven't stalked me, if this is the first time you're seeing me, so I'm a multi-passionate. I'm not sure if you can tell that already by the things I'm expressing to you. But one of the things I really, really love, or I would say, from the very beginning of time, it's all about, asking myself, what is my purpose in life? I always ask myself, what is my purpose in life? And I couldn't find a definite answers. You turn to religion, you turn to science, you turn to everywhere, and you'll be like, there's no answer. Until one day I came across a quote from Picasso, and he says, the purpose of life is to find your gift, and the meaning of life is to give it away. And then I'm like, oh my God. So it's like, there is no like end goal. It's always like discovering, right? And only through discovering, through sharing, there's meaning, there's fulfillment. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I think that's quite fulfilling. That who knows that by you watching this video, suddenly you'll be like, aha, like, and I think what I'm about to share with you is kind of like life-changing for me. And I'll share with you as to why, right? So coming back, so yeah, I'm a multi-passionate. I used to fly. I just published a book not too long ago, and it's currently like in Kinokuniya and popular. So I'm really excited for that. Hooray! I also hold a financial license, and I used to be a pilot, if I haven't mentioned that already. So for me, the reason is, from one perspective, just to share, it's not to like brag, but just to let you know that for me, I put myself out there because I was really lost. I was really confused, like as to what is my purpose in life. And that was before Picasso's wisdom, right? So I'm like, let's just try it, and then let's see what comes out of it. So because of all those experience, I realized that that in learning from so many different teachers and going through life, the ups and downs, and business problems and stuff like that, one thing I realized is that if you don't master the art of empathetic selling, then it's very hard to achieve the things you want in life. What do I mean by that, right? So Naval, who came up with this very famous quote, if you search him online, is that he said this: you're only doing sales because you failed marketing. You're doing marketing because you're failed at product. So what he means, or in my way of expressing it, is that the only reason you're doing sales is only because you've yet to master marketing. Once you've mastered marketing, then sales become a form of service. So what he's actually talking about that, right, is that when it comes to, how do I put it, like your business, right? If you're doing sales, right, and you're struggling with sales, is because you have yet to master marketing to find the right people. And the reason why people struggle with sales or closing the sales is because the product is not ready, right? And then you need to convince people, you handle objections and stuff like that. But when it comes to empathetic selling, it's really more about like, hey, this is what I have, this is my solution to the problem. Can you make it, rather than buy now, or go to the back of the room and stuff like that. So that's how I was like taught, basically. So yeah, and I mean, just to share, if you have read it, is that I've been in this trade for over a decade. So, to be recognized as Singapore's youngest trainer, and I still hold that record today since the age of 15, it's a huge honor. And I hope one day someone, by watching this video, can be inspired and beat and replace that record. But I've been holding it, I think, for at least the last decade or so as well. So yeah, that's proof right there. Okay. So yeah, so this is him, Nabil. Okay, and yeah, he's an American entrepreneur and investor. So shout out to him. And it was because of Taki Mo, who actually shared that in his email, that I came across this quote, and it really like struck a chord, because I'm like, that's the work I want to do. If I can, and because you see, sales equals income, right? If you do not know how to sell, you have no income. If you are facing issues in life, in your family, in your relationship, it's all because mostly because of money, right? And in order to solve that, it's sales, right? So if you are stuck with sales, which I was, then I'm like, shit, right? Then I realized that actually, wait, if I have a great product and I'm great in marketing, then sales is definitely it's like a side effect, it comes to you. So again, if your product is great and your marketing is great, right, money shouldn't be an issue for you. Like, money will just flow your way. Okay, and that's the whole art of empathetic selling. Okay, so how do I know this, right? So for us, what we did was we actually launched a community called Trainers Unite, and for me, it was because I was stuck, right? Like you go through the hero's journey or the client's journey, right? It's like, wow, if I want to start making big bucks like in corporate, right, then what are the steps like, right? I need to get my HRD certification, that's for Malaysia. And then I need, in Singapore, the ACLP or the ACTA to basically start teaching government approved courses, which is, not bad, actually pays not too bad, you know what I mean? So basically I gather people because I'm lost, I'm alone, and I'm like, there's no community, so I like just open one. And then so we are now like 200 plus people, and only if you are accredited, we let you in, right? And so from those community, what we did at the back, if you can see, is we did this thing called the Trainers Authority Audit. So we kind of, ask everyone that comes in the community, what is the biggest challenge you face? And then out of everyone, and I honestly like talked to like majority of them like one-on-one over Zoom for like 20, 30 minutes, some like 60 minutes. And then I started to realize like, wow, everyone actually is looking for a job. Like trainers are just looking for another training gig. They just want to be paid by the hour or by the day, right? And that lies the biggest challenge. Like, why are you stuck at just $35, $50 an hour? This is Sing dollars, by the way. Or like $2,000, 2005 ringgit a day. Like, that's, yeah, I mean, it's good money because you're teaching for like long periods of time, but then again, is that the ceiling? Is that where your comfort level is? Or do you want to make more? Like have you ever thought about that? So one of the things that we talked to all the trainers, we realized that a lot of them are just looking for jobs, they're looking for stability, and nothing wrong with that, by the way. I just want to put it out there. It's just that, hey, there's a way to make so much more, and I need your help to do that, because how we make our money is when you make your money, because we have this thing called vested interest, right? And I'm going to talk about that, I think, in the next slide. So one of the things that we really stand for, and what makes us very different, is that we do not look at just certificate, because everyone is just like, oh, I graduated, please hire me, or then they like send me a CV and stuff like that. And then I feel like it's very like stagnant. It's like everyone has that. In Singapore, I think we had like 40,000 certified trainers. Malaysia is like 10,000. So everyone has a certification, and it's no different than a degree, right? Like almost everyone has a degree. I don't have a degree. I have 2 diplomas, and I think I'm pretty well accomplished in my own way, right? And I'm happy. That's most important, right? So I think for me, it's really more about, hey, let's not just talk the talk, right? We need to walk the talk, right? And it's through lived experience, and it's by you showing your work. So a lot of times when trainer comes to me and be like, oh, can you please hire me and stuff like that? I'm like, okay, sure, you can send me your CV, but more importantly is, can you send me your work? I have a lot of trainers who proclaim like, oh, I'm a digital marketing trainer, I'm an AI trainer, I'm a LinkedIn trainer, but then you go to their profile and it's like nothing, right? And if they are digital marketers, they would have a great understanding of marketing, right? Turns out it's not. They just know how to do like marketing, like personal branding, but they don't know how to kind of attract clients. And that's something that's a huge red flag for me. And that's one of the gaps that we try to solve, right? Excuse me. So, then again, that's why we built a community where we can help people and share the opportunities, because I feel like this world has just too much opportunities, and you just need to be the right person at the right place at the right time. That's true abundance, right? So working together. So basically for us, how at the Lighthouse we work is we basically either co-design programs, or let's say you can take one of our programs and run it as your own, but we support you from the back, and if you need help with the marketing, usually a lot of trainers ask me, oh, who's going to do the marketing? Who's going to bear the cost of marketing? Then I'm like, not us, because if we do it, then we wouldn't pay you as much as we want to pay you, right? So we actually have like a pathway where we teach you the behind the scenes, the frameworks, the technology, the software that I personally use to build, a training school, a training business, whatever you call it. And more importantly, being a world-class trainer. The difference between an amateur trainer and a world-class trainer is that when you do certain things and people don't notice, that's how you know that you have achieved that level of mastery. Like one of the things that I'm very particular about is slides. I'm not a huge fan of slides. Even like this, I'm not a huge fan. But one of the things is that are you at the level where you can conduct any class even without knowing about that particular topic? Right? That's the true art of facilitation. Anyone today can throw me a topic and I have no clue about it. So long as you know more than me, I can run a class. Because why? When you actually break down the word facil, or like facilitator, the actual Latin word, the original word of facilitator, facil, if you translate it, it is actually to pull out. Okay, to pull out what? To pull out the genius from the room. And a lot of times, especially amateurs, right, they'd be like, oh, I'm the trainer, I'm the superstar, I'm the smart one and stuff like that. But actually, at a world-class level, we are not the smartest. We recognize that we are not the smartest, and we do not know what we do not know, right? So when we actually facilitate as a world-class teacher, right, the brilliance is in the room, the genius is in the room. So that's really what makes us stand out, because we are looking for that kind of quality. And I personally believe that, with all our programs that have been accredited so far, they are all transferable skill set. We can teach you how to teach. That's not an issue at all. But what we're actually looking out for is the attitude and the aptitude, right, of someone who is willing to be like, oh, that's one way to do it. That's very interesting, rather than very structured. Because I have heard so many stories where, trainers who are 20, 30 years, experience, more experienced than me even, right? But today, the people are not in favor of them. Why? Not because of their age, not because of their experience, but the way of delivery has changed, Now, especially if we would do something like this virtually, are they equipped with the right skill sets or the knowledge? Again, it is trainable, but at the same time, we have to adapt to the market conditions and again, trends, right? So that's a little bit about, working together with the Lighthouse. So how we succeed, okay, this one's not really important, but basically, again, we have the workshops for you to come on board, our trainer to kind of, just not to say like we're here to sell you a training program, but it's just to kind of like make sure that we speak the same language. And if you have actually, watched us, you have been following us for a long time, you will know that, we do things a bit differently, okay? And also, I will take this opportunity to kind of share the reason why I personally started the Lighthouse is because, you know, being a trainer is one thing, being seen, you know, and getting paid, you know, being wanted is another thing. But to go globally, like we want to come together because, you know, I grew up in a place where I think this world is very male-dominated world. This trainers world is very like dog eat dog, like whoever's the best, whoever makes the 5, 6, 7 figures. And then to me, I'm like, but I'm just a small fry. You know, I just want to make my first 5 figures, maybe 6 figures if I'm lucky enough. Like, how do I do that? You know, and you know, it's like there's one story like I always share, you know, which is that, you know, basically my 4-minute mile story, which is that, you know, when you first when the whole world said that you couldn't run a mile in a minute until someone broke it, and then after that everyone's like starts breaking records, right? My moment was when I first attended class when I was like 12 years old, right after like PSLE, like the national exam. And then I'm like, I went for this workshop on how to create mobile apps, right? And then suddenly I'm like, wow, they are making like 6 figures in like 2 weekends. I'm like, oh my god, why are we working so hard? Why is my father working so hard? You know, like, how do you do that? Like, I want to be that lazy, you know? So it's been a decade since, and that's why I still stuck to this trade, because I know somewhere deep in my heart that this industry still can do it. It's still very lucrative if done properly. It's taken me over a decade to kind of master the different skills. I'm still learning. Truth be told, I'm still learning, and I have friends around me. I'm like, oh my god, like they keep building, you know, they keep expanding the team. I'm like, oh my god, I also want that for myself. But I'm like, wow, there's just so much. I mean, growth, like that's what they call lifelong learning, right? You're always learning. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is this: is that, you know, when we want to build this business, any business, I think 2025 moving forward, it's an energy that I'm personally sensing. It's very collaborative, and the world is just that small. I mean, Singapore is already that small. Malaysia is even smaller. I know, right? And I don't know, but that's all I would just say, because the world is just so small. If you are in this industry, you will come across the couple of few who is still around. You know, I've seen my fair share of trainers come and go, and I've also seen their success, and then they disappeared, and then I'm like, oh, I'm still here, you know. So yeah, we want to kind of like, you know, bring you with us as long as we can. That's why our tagline is building futures, partners for life. I think, you know, especially holding a financial license, right? I know I can definitely create a legacy, not just for yourself, but for the people you love, lah. Okay. So yeah, you know, one of the opportunities is to become our trainers. We love to have that conversation with you. I'm not sure if the QR code works, but if you scan it, I think it leads to my booking link or to the community, and that's usually where I can start to meet you in person. Like I will have a call with you just to get to know you, and basically you can also explore our work, basically. And then we also teach, again, like I mentioned, the empathetic selling, how we build our first 5-figure training business, how anyone can do it with just $300. And it's a very bold claim, but just to share why $300 is because when we teach our signature Get Shit Done program, it's actually a 3 days accountability coaching program where in 3 days from scratch, if you have no experience on how to build an ad, including your graphics, your copywriting, the systems, the AI, like everything from scratch, right? And then by the end of 3 days, you launch your ads, and then every day we set a budget of like $20 a day, right, to spend on ads, right? And a lot of times people are very afraid of ads because, one, you spend money, you bleed money because there's no result, or two, you just have no idea how to do it, or three, if you actually go outside and find agencies and stuff like that, right, they're going to charge you a minimum retainer of like thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars. The cheapest one I think was like $500 to like $1,000 in Sing dollars for them to do it yourself, you know? So I think for me is, if I could, and this is a per month thing, right? So if I can actually take that budget and do it myself, not that I do not know how to do, but I just get it done in like 3 days, and I have a community that supports me, I think that's pretty a no-brainer to come for this class. So yeah, if you want more information, you can always leave a comment in wherever I post this video. But yeah, so that's one of our signature thing I wanted to share. And oh yes, so very important is, you know, why is it that for our industry, like what is the opportunities for you to get started, especially if you're a trainer to be, or you've been a trainer, a seasoned trainer, but you're still stuck. You feel like you have reached a ceiling, like I just can't get customers, right? So that's why we do what we do. We got our accreditation under UTAP. It's an NTUC initiative where members can actually claim 50% of the unfunded course fee. So that means if you run a class, like let's say $500, right, and then 50% is $250, so your students only pay like $250 lah, basically. And then if they are like age 40 and up, then that limit goes to 500. So from a sales perspective, right, you not only can raise your price, because a lot of newbie trainers, right, they launch their program, it's like $30, $50, $180, $200, $250, right? I've seen my fair share. But to me, I'm like, hey, that's okay. And there's a market for that. But if you want to kind of like level up, like to go high ticket, high sale, this is one way to do it, right? To tap onto existing funding. Or I would use the word leverage, right? So if you can actually launch your course, like we have one client who actually came on board, right? And he does music, right? So he launched like 1 hour, like 8 sessions, that's like over 2 months for like $700-800, right? And then we were like, wait a minute, why have you ever considered like doing like a 2 days workshop for, let's say, the same price, but in just 2 days, you not only like deliver your promise, but you get cash upfront, right? And then it's like, oh my God, like why didn't I think of that, right? They didn't even know the possibilities of that. So having this kind of leverage, right, not only changes life, but it also helps and keeps a business sustainable. Take note, I'm not here to tell you like, oh, this is a get rich quick. No way, shape or form. What I'm telling you is this very important word called leverage. If you can have leverage over anything like in business or in life, right, you will have this thing called unfair advantage, and that's one way to do it. So that's for Singapore. And for Malaysia, because we are HRD accredited training provider, so employers can actually send their employees to come for a training program, and they can actually claim it as well under the scheme. This is usually for companies who are more than 5-10 employees and they want to upskill their staff. So that's something to explore as well. So we can help facilitate that. So again, this is the part I wanted to say earlier, is our vested interest. So the reason why we're able to help is because we make our money doing the backend stuff. We do the logistics, we do the costing, we do the licensing, we do all the administration, we do the stuff, and we take a cut, right? But we give majority of the margins to you. So you get like maybe anywhere from like either a per hour thing or a per day thing, if let's say it's a corporate gig, or let's say we do a profit share, which over the stream I won't talk to you about, but we have our rates at the back. So happy to have that conversation with you. So we don't make our money unless you make your money. So it is therefore our vested interest to make sure that you shine, people want you, and you have class. Okay, so that's how we kind of work at the Lighthouse, basically. I keep saying basically. So that's me. Okay, and please, if you want to join us completely for free, you can join our community. We only take in trainers or trainers to be ACLP, HRD, or you have some kind of like former in-house trainer. We're happy to have you inside and to share all these videos like I'm doing now. I think it's pretty exciting to share, like, hey, if this is what opportunities, like what we do in Trainers Unite, and you'll be surprised or quite tempted, is that we will always share like, hey, we have this client looking for this training. Are you free? Can you share your CV? Can you do this? Can you do that? Like, we want to actually hire you because honestly speaking, I want to step away from training. To be very honest with you, it's very tiring, right? I've done my trainings. I had my career sprint, 18 trainings back to back. Oh my God, it killed me. Three days alone or 5 days back to back, I'm already like, so I'm like, okay, if you can do it, please take over me, provided you are competent, right? You have the standard that we're looking for, and most importantly, we are always looking for practitioners, right? There's too many fluff in the market and I'm very tired of that. So please, if you want to come on board Trainers Unite, or you want to join me at the Lighthouse, please start sharing your work, okay? And if you do not know how, please come to the workshop. I'm not here to sell you, I'm just here to invite you, because really I want to give you jobs, but when a client asks for like, can you please send me your client's video or client CV? I'm like, I don't have it because the trainer don't have it. Then I'm like, oh my God, then we both can't make money. So please understand that is my true intention, okay? It's only a fraction of the price to cover my cost, and it's subsidized with the various different grants and subsidies and blah, 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 agencies, okay? Can't say that for other legal reasons already. Okay. So that's it. So happy to have the conversation with you. My information should be somewhere, again, in the description. If not, you can just drop me a message. You can find me everywhere at The Abundant Riley. That is my username for everywhere. You can drop me an email. You can drop a comment, and my AI will kind of respond to you. And just as a special bonus is that if you visit our website, right, the lighthouseacademia.com, actually what happens is that you can actually take it's a 2-minute scorecard. Basically, it's answering yes/no questions, and we will generate a personalized report for you to identify where in your sales cycle, your marketing, are you having gaps, right? And after you do that, basically, I will be notified, my team will be notified, and to me, is we will reach out to you and be like, hey, do you want help in making sure that you have a full funnel, a full, like, how do I say, like a full like checklist that you have everything in place. If you actually drop me a message like privately on like Messenger on Instagram, I have an AI set up, and you type LOM, LOM, basically that video basically sums up like when you come to my class, that's what you will end up with. You will have all your social media set up, your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube, your SEO, your Google, your LinkedIn, I think. If you name it, should be done. So have a look at that video. That is basically the expectation we have for all the trainers that come on board. Like, please do your profile and have work, your past work to share, because we need more of that. Too many times I see on Facebook, I'm like, and you can see I'm very jaded with this. Too many times people is like, oh, I did this class, I did that class, like yay him or her, right? But I'm like, I don't want that. I want you to start showcasing your practitioner work. Like if I'm doing this video, I'm like, hey, if you want to do a video like this and you want to learn, come for my class, because here, walk the talk, like this is how I do it. Like, how do I do all this like animation and stuff? And I'm using all this like equipment. So if I like press a button, it goes like that. It's like, I can show you how to do it. Now, let me teach you how to do it if ever you're interested. Rather than, oh, here's my class, I graduated, I did this class, and things like that, right? So again, my final message for everyone watching, if you're watching until the end, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope this is insightful, and I hope to have that conversation with you, and we hope to be part, I hope to be part of your journey, to help you in your training career, to scale your training career, and everybody can work together, okay? With that said, thank you so much. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any feedback, any questions for me. That is how I decide what programs to do, because doing preparing a slide like this takes me an entire week to prepare. So I thank you in advance for watching all the way here. I mean, there is like snippets you can just click wherever you want. And yeah, again, find me at The Abundant Riley and hope to see you in either a live training or another training video. If not, see you guys in the next video.